All right, so it's been about a week now since I'm switching topics a little bit. I want to.
What you got?
I don't want to go too deep into politics. That's never fun.
Yeah, that shit's boring.
Did Trump do a good thing? An incredibly reckless, stupid thing that just luckily turned out okay.
I think he did. I think he might have.
Do you think
Andy, you don't know I'm the biggest Trump critic on the call. And but it appears that he traded Iran's number 2, a queen, we'll say in chess, or a couple of empty buildings, a pawn at the most. If you take out a queen with a pawn, I mean, look, this game doesn't end ever, so we'll see, where that happens. Right. But I mean, if we could have traded a few empty buildings for Osama bin Laden or Saddam Hussein, I think they would have made that trade. If Trump did that, and this game really does end with that score, you have to admit it went super well.
Yeah, I think we're probably closer to like halftime than we are to the end.
Here's why we are not at halftime, in my personal opinion. It's because we found out today that Iran accidentally shot down its own airliner and killed 180 some odd people, roughly, or maybe 173. Mostly,
did you mean their own airliner? Did you say that right?
Yeah, it was a Ukrainian airline that was flying out of Tehran,
out of Iranian airspace. Yeah, but it was mostly populated by Iranian citizens. You know, and then I think Canadians made up like 73 maybe of the people on board, and then it sort of breaks down. And of course, one of the things that they shamed the U.S. on in their propaganda and stuff like that, they even mentioned it maybe 5 days ago, was that I believe the United States accidentally shot down perhaps an Iranian airliner back in the 80s.
Yeah.
And so they bring that up a lot, how we accidentally shot down that airliner. Terrible tragedy, obviously. But then they did it like 3 days later, like in the modern era.
Mm-hmm. Two wrongs make a right.
Let he who hath not shot down an airliner cast the first stone. It's what we say here all
Ukraine
the time.
And Russia is like, dang it. All right.
Do we know that's what happened? Do we know that?
We know that's what happened. There's video of the missile hitting it. The Canadians have independently confirmed it. Our government has independently confirmed it, and there are not state-sponsored but independent Iranian news agencies who have confirmed it as well. But you can see the missile hit the thing.
That's really sad
on like Twitter video.
Terrible.
Yeah, I haven't watched that clip.
Shocking. 180 people who were just going home. There was one gentleman who, because of some sort of ticket mistake, he had to stay in the terminal, and his wife's on the plane.
Oh, he's about to get Final Destination.
He just got Final Destination.
He's about to be. There's going to be coffee shops collapsing on him, and like scaffolding. You know how it works. We've all seen the films.
Can you remind me how it works? I think I've inferred it, but when you're supposed to die and therefore you didn't, and then
death comes after you in the most ridiculous kinds of ways, like making like Rube Goldberg machines to kill you, essentially a lot of the time. That's the whole kind of premise of those films.
Yeah, those are shitty movies.
It's been a wild week in the news. I was genuinely concerned for the first 3 or 4 days. It seemed like Trump had really stepped in shit and
acted rashly.
I'm not convinced that he didn't step in shit and just trip and fall into a pot of gold. I think that's pretty much what happened. He did do a thing that it seems like nobody really thinks was a good idea, who isn't biased in their opinion.
Even our European allies weren't stoked on it.
Yeah, and
they're like, yeah, that's really reckless, dude.
I was on the phone with my dad today, and he was like, was that a good thing or a bad thing? And I was like, it depends who you ask, right?
This is a few days ago.
This was today.
Okay.
Like just today. And he was like, do you think that was a good thing or a bad thing that he took that guy out? And I was like, well, it seems like that was a bad guy, and maybe he did need taken out. But I don't think the way he did it was the appropriate way to do it in the year 2020, But then again, I think that his critics would criticize him if he had literally taken out Satan or name a horrible evil thing.
What's the name of that movie? Is it Braveheart, where like the two leaders of the armies are like, we'll challenge each other to one-on-one, mano-a-mano combat, and the winner of that determines it. It's just the kings fighting.
Speaking of the king, right? Was it we
or
watched?
Perhaps Game of Thrones.
Or perhaps Game of Thrones. It's definitely out there. I'm not just making it up.
It's the
We need to go
English
back to
against the
that.
French thing.
Or Troy, when Brad Pitt goes and fights Boagrius.
Yeah, that was really cool. I was disappointed when Brad Pitt killed Boagrius or whatever, because that guy was yoked, and I was like, I hope he like joins the team and he starts tearing shit up, and then he got stabbed right in the goddamn collarbone, ended him right quick.
That was a cool maneuver.
We need to get back to that, because I don't know how tall the Iranian #1 guy is, but I know he's not as fat as Trump, so we've got the weight class advantage. If Trump can barrel towards him and fall on him, we could end this war in a matter of minutes.
Trump has to be, amongst men, right? Let's remove women from the equation. I think Trump is bottom 3% in fighting ability.
No, dude, bottom 3%?
He is 74 years old or
Are we
something?
counting burn?
Oh, no, we're
victims
talking, you
and
gotta
indigents?
equate. How old is the Iranian guy? He's old as fuck too, right?
The guy that he killed? I don't know. He looked kind of fit to me. Let's see.
Oh, the guy he killed. I wouldn't want to throw him again in the ring against that guy. I think Taylor's thinking more like of.
I'm talking about like their
that
king.
bearded gentleman who's more of a
Okay. I was going
religious leader.
Salamani.
Hassan Rouhani.
Do you guys think Trump has ever been in a fight in his life? Come on.
Maybe in college,
Prep school?
maybe in prep school.
I
or in
can
that
believe a lot
military
of
school.
people dislike him.
Oh,
So
yeah,
if we
but
start there.
Yeah, I feel like if he went through life without getting in a couple of fist fights, then he's not the man we think he is.
I'm trying to find Hassan Rouhani's stats.
I just feel like he's going to be getting attacked left and right.
So the guy he killed was 63.
Okay.
Which is, and what is Trump? Is he 72?
yeah, he's
No.
like 72 or something.
I think he's
73.
I think he's 73.
Okay, I'll look it up.
Oh, maybe he's
and going to be
74 by now.
74 by the end of the
He's
year.
73. You're right.
Yeah. And the other guy was 63. That's 10 critical years, but only 10 years. I don't know.
No, not that guy. We're talking about the heads of state. Rouhani is
Yeah.
71, and I can't find how tall he is online, and that is sometimes a sign of not being tall.
What if that?
Let's see.
I think we're better off not doing the whole picking of champions thing.
Dude, no, come on.
I think we should press our advantage.
Yeah, right. United States will. We might beat Hassan Rouhani, who's 71 years old, but I don't think we'll be a superpower anymore if we depend on Trump to do our fighting personally.
Some just absolute monster from Iceland who like won the longest man. He just beats the shit out of Trump. Like we did make the rules. Now we're part of Iceland.
Right?
We'll
Here's
challenge
Bjorn
me.
Bone Crusher, the
Yeah,
Prime
Bjorn
Minister of Iceland, and
We
ruler
didn't
of all
think
of Europe
through the
now,
rules of
after
one-on-one
after
combat.
last week.
As Iceland and Northern Europe have taken over the planet. Yes, with their ridiculous strongmen. Yeah.
Who would you
Eastern
take?
Europe with all their MMA guys.
Would you take Trudeau or Trump in a fight, though? I feel
Trudeau,
like
he's like
No.
30 years younger.
Yeah.
And he's not fat.
gotta win. Yeah. Trump must be exhausted. Like, to bend over and pick up a golf ball must be exhausting for Trump.
Trump's on speed, though.
Ooh, counterpoint. Touche. Yeah.
Does Adderall make you a better fighter? I don't think so. It just makes you not sleepy.
More frenetic, though, and that counts.
I'm gonna punch you so hard. Lots of smart people talking about how hard I can punch. You better stay away. You stay in your sandy shithole over there, whatever your name is. You know,
Sandy shithole country.
This is how our politics discussions always go. It's like, do you think it was a good thing? Do you think it was a bad thing? But who would you want to fuck and who fights better?
Yeah, I don't know. I like I said, I don't want to get bogged down into politics, but I just at the beginning of the week I was very afraid. I legitimately was. I felt like we were literally one or two bad decisions, not by leaders, not by world leaders, but perhaps by soldiers. Someone in the field hitting the wrong button, away from getting into some serious international kind of trouble where other superpowers get drawn into this thing and lives are lost and horrible things could happen. Once the wheels start moving. I mean, we all know how World War I started. Little ridiculous things can draw in.
They killed one guy. Assassinated one guy.
Yeah.
So
Well-
I think that if you don't think things are looking good right now, then you're not looking at it very clearly. Things look great. On the other hand, if you're Iran, what move would you make, right? You've got this United States superpower who apparently can just freaking laser you from the sky anywhere, anytime.
They hit his car.
Right? They hit his car. So that's the capability we have. Don't you tell America, no, we're done. It's cool. We're chill.
They
And
can't.
then
They would lose.
bide
they
your
lose face.
time. And well, that's what they've done, right? Trump has said, "Hey, I'd like peace," and Iran has said, "Yeah, I think we got your back. Everything's cool now."
No, but see,
I'm
that's what
listening.
that's what they're sort of virtue signaling. But what
Yes.
they're putting out on state media is, we just slapped them in the face.
Sure.
We fired missiles into into their bases. They it's only just begun. That's and then people are like, oh, it's only just okay, all right, maybe ease up a little bit, but you don't have to be that hard on the on.
Let's
on
let
the
Andy
great
jump in
Satan.
here.
Yeah, I think this one's really not about the perception of the people at all. Like, there's a big chess game going on as to sort of a power vacuum of who takes over Saudi Arabia and all these countries, Iraq, and all these important locations. And if you notice, like, a couple things happen. One, this guy Salome, whatever his name is, he could have been taken out for the last 10 years. Obama didn't want to take him out. Bush didn't want to take him out, because we take him out, it created bigger issues than keeping him in there. And that I think that was pretty obvious. The second most amazing thing was, the second this went down, all of US's allies who have been completely turned off by Trump, I think it's just a fact, they were like, oh, yeah, we're not going to comment on this right now. And Israel, who U.S. has been an unbelievable, Trump is an unbelievable supporter of, they were like, oh, no, we didn't do shit here. We are not involved in this thing. Do not fuck with us. Don't put your missiles towards us. This isn't our gig. We didn't plan any of this stuff. We weren't involved. So he was on his own. And the Iranians are like, okay, we can come back and, with full force. And we can be honest also, like, the Iranians bombed the oil refinery not that long ago, and they launched, I think, 20 missiles, and 17 missiles hit within 1 meter of their target. So they didn't try and hurt anybody on this at all. They knew that there were no U.S. Soldiers in this place. So I think they're just saying, like, there's no support for this, right? And what they want is what happened. The Iraqi government said, hey, America, get out. Like, you're going to cause trouble in our country. They voted, and the prime minister said, we want the soldiers out. So imagine if that all happens. They've already moved out of Saudi Arabia, right? They moved out of the Kurds. There's a big area for Iran. Iran's doing great right now under this foreign
This
policy.
is also what Trump wants, though.
Russia, they're like, this is good. I want to mess this up. We're getting everything we wanted over the last 10 years.
I feel like Trump's getting exactly what he wants too, because I feel like Trump honestly does want out of those countries, but he's just having a hard time selling it. If the Iraqis are like, ask us to leave, maybe Trump got together with the Iranians and like, look, I know you've been complaining about that salami guy for a while. I know you don't care for him.
Both were a mutual problem.
Maybe I take him out for you. You blow up the shed, and I leave Iraq. Does that work for you? What do you mean you're going to shoot down your own airline? Don't do that.
What is wrong with you? Why would you do that?
What did the Ukrainian? I didn't see Ukraine coming into this at all. I mean, if that's what you want, no Americans will be on board. Canadians, fuck Trudeau.
This is a solid theory, Kyle.
They call me racist. He's the one in blackface up there.
That's probably That's funny.
There was a poll out today, USA Today just asked a pretty significant number of Americans if they felt more safe, less safe, since the events of the last bunch of days. And I was really surprised. And it was, the overwhelming percentage was less safe. And
I feel less safe.
I did too.
I want to know the
same.
polling dates on that. That's huge to me, because I felt a lot differently 2 days ago than I do today.
Same.
It was a day ago. Yeah, it came out today, so it was done 2 days ago. I mean, I just think we haven't seen anywhere.
Right, that's what I was trying to get out. If I'm Iran, the virtue signal I send right now is, we're done, we're cool, chill, bro, no more. And then I lie about that and bide my time. Like, that might be one strategy you'd use. What the worst one to use is, let's keep fighting. Like,
they're furious at us.
Yeah, let's keep fighting with the United States of America. That's not the signal you want to put out there. You'd rather do it asymmetrically and go sink a ship 3 months from now.
Did you see their statement? Did you see the Iran statement?
No.
Like, what they came out with? They said, this is a proportionate response given, what happened, blah, 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 right? It was the most sane, intelligent response, because they're trying to flip the table and be like, the Trump's unhinged. America's, what the hell's going on here? Like, we're the good actor now. Like, they totally flipped the tables.
Reagan looked unhinged too. And it turned out to be really effective for him in dealing with the Cold War stuff, right? Reagan asked for disarmament at a level where you remember, Kyle, you put that thing out there. You're like, we would say we have this small plan, this medium plan, and then this outrageously great plan, and they would take somewhere in the middle.
Mhm.
Trump put out this outrageously great thing. Let's disarm in this really wild way, and everyone was like, Reagan. I meant to say Reagan. Reagan, you're asking for too much. This is not a thing that the Russians will agree to, and they did. And it turned out to be really successful. And part of it was like they didn't know what Reagan would do. Reagan looked unhinged. Reagan, would threaten to bomb people. He'd do these television things. I'd watch him as a kid, and he'd talk about Star Wars and all sorts of insanity.
He was a cowboy, literally.
Yeah, and it turned out that unpredictability worked in his favor. So
Didn't Trump say he was gonna I know we already have really, really harsh sanctions on Iran. Didn't he say he was gonna make them even worse?
Yeah, and I'm sure Canada's going to follow suit after.
Because if he does, we're just gonna they're just gonna get even madder at us over time, So I think that lends towards what you're saying, Woody. Where eventually their economy will be in such shambles and
at
shit.
some
that
point,
they're
how
just gonna be
mad can they
furious.
get? How much madder can they be? It seems like they've been mad for so long.
Yeah,
They're
well, a
good.
lot of countries are mad at us. Yeah.
and then it's
They're giving
complicated.
sanctions, and Russians are giving them plenty of money. They're somehow figuring it out. They've had massive sanctions on them since the
Yeah, forever.
hostage crisis of 1970, whatever it was.
I have a friend. He served in the Middle East, and he watches the show. By the way, hey Todd. Every time we talk about this, he's expert in the topic. He these guys feel this way. These guys feel this way. These guys lead up through this chain of command, and my takeaway from it is always, well, one, he seems to know what he's talking about, and two, boy, oh boy, this is complicated.
It's
So
so
this-
complicated.
So to say Iran feels this way, well, Iran actually is pretty divided, and Iraq is pretty divided, and
Yeah.
some Iraqis are more loyal to Iran and vice versa, surprisingly, and they don't think as a solid group. That's all.
hmm
Well, I'm just glad that things didn't escalate out of hand, and it seems like it's on the way to a cool down. I think especially because
Hope
they
so.
messed up and shot down that airliner. I think that
I think that was a
that's
stroke
really
of
put
luck,
them-
huh? That
I think it might end up being a stroke of luck for world peace
Mm-hmm.
that happened. It's a terrible thing that it happened. You know what else happened? Like the same day, there was a magnitude 5 earthquake also in Iran. It was so bizarre that all three of those things were happening simultaneously. And I had to look on Reddit and the comments to see what people were saying, and they were like, "Seismo attack?" ? And I'm like, no, maybe.
Yeah.
Did Trump release the seismic attack weapons? Are they giving him the red button on those too? Do we have maybe? I don't know.
It might just be an earthquake. I saw a bunch of people the night of, and I
course.
haven't seen anything of it since.
Yeah.
So that's probably proven wrong. But people being like, "Oh, Iran just tested an enormous weapon right there to show, oh fuck, they've got heavier arms than we think." And then since
No.
that evening, I haven't seen a single person say that. So I assume that's been debunked.
Yeah, it definitely would be if they they definitely didn't detonate any sort of nuclear weapon.
Iran
don't
took
have any
out.
weapons.
I'm sorry, Israel took out Iran's nuclear site, and that was the seismic activity. Look into it.
Are you
Did they?
kidding around? Or
I don't know.
I'm fucking around, and look
Oh,
into it
yeah,
is
okay,
code
okay.
for
Yeah.
Oh, look into-
stupid
oh, okay,
conspiracy theory.
This is Eddie Bravo stupid conspiracy theory. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is the sort of situation where God knows what's actually happening, behind the scenes with maybe even special forces or
What
who
if?
knows what.
What if there's someone on that plane that they wanted killed? Right?
Oh, man.
This, for all I know, someone
That's the
who,
first thing I thought of.
yeah,
Hmm.
look into it. Hillary took the plane down to get rid of an Epstein connection.
Oh shit!
It happened.
Oh shit! That's what it was.
I
They had the
don't-
dossier.
no, I don't have any evidence yet.
She had the.
But I'm
There was
working
somebody
it's
on that plane. There was somebody on that plane with both video foot. They had the Trump P tape and the Bill Clinton Epstein Island tape,
Mhm.
all on one freaking DVD, and they were heading to Canada with it to give it to Trudeau.
Someone didn't set their phone to airplane mode and tweeted as they were taking
That's
off,
what it
"I have
was.
information that will lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton."
That's
And then that's what happened. She called her buddy in Iran, and they took care of it.
Look into it.
It is terrible if that happened.
I mean, sometimes you just have to use Occam's razor. The simplest explanation. Yeah.
Clearly, Hillary's behind it all.
If it was some dude who like accidentally shot that, man, he's had a rough week.
He did.
In Iran.
It's
He's
totally
definitely dead.
Because if you think about it, if we were attacking, if the United States were attacking Iran, like the first thing we always do is take out those missile sites, right? You've got to imagine if you're that guy over there operating the missile site, like you're the first guy on the target list if the attack is coming, and you being quick on the button might literally be the difference between not just winning the battle or winning the war, but surviving today, you know. And I just imagine the guys just
better
beep,
safe
beep,
than sorry.
Launch. I think that's literally what happened. You know, it seems really negligent that could have even happened.
It says Delta on the side of the airplane, like Delta Force. That's why I shot it down. It's like,
It's the Delta Force. The red, white, and blue. It's definitely them.
yeah. It says American airline. Yeah. It's just yeah. That
It wasn't a bad accent either.
I don't know if it was or not.
It says American Airlines. I don't know.
We'll never know. I guarantee the guy who pressed that button's in a heap of trouble, and I don't think Iran is the slap you on the back of the wrist kind of military.
Yeah. Well, if what happened if one of our guys did that?
But
Like
Well,
he'd be
they
in
have done
military
it.
prison,
Did
right?
anything happen to him? No, I don't think so.
Johnson, not again.
Yeah.
You're on mess duty.
Yeah.
Kitchen patrol.
Yeah.
Uh,
They go like police style, paid vacation. Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll teach you to
probably
beat the
so.
shit out of people needlessly.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, I'm glad. I feel like that was literally dodged a bullet. No, maybe not. Yeah. Literally dodged some missiles, maybe even.
Yeah. Those guys didn't, but